Brought to you by Blink B-Mobile.
The following is a paid political broadcast.
CTV's coverage of the UNC's Monday Night Forum. Tonight we're in Guaico. A lot is happening thus far. Tonight's ceremony is chaired by the Housing Minister, Dr. Rudal Muninal, who is also one of the deputy political leaders. At this time, we expect the arrival of Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bisesa, and what you're hearing in the background is really welcome for Prime Minister Prasad-Bisesa, the political leader. So to help me discuss what's happening, I have Khadija Amin, the chair of the party. Welcome.
Thank you. I should be welcoming you to the UNC meeting rather than the other way around. But we have a very energetic crowd here in Sangre Grande. We are in Guaico, and this is part of the Toco Sangre Grande constituency. And it is expected to be one of the keenly contested marginals. We did have screening for candidates for this constituency. So there's a lot of anxiety this evening as people look forward to the Prime Minister making her delivery. The Member of Parliament, the incumbent, Mr. Griffith, has addressed the crowd, and there is some building anxiety as people look forward to candidates being named this evening.
What does that feel like when you're standing by to know if you've gotten the nod? What sort of anxiety is that?
Well, certainly, Larry, the political party and the campaign team has been working with our teams in the respective constituency. There has been collaboration with our partners on the ground in the various constituencies. So I feel confident that every candidate who is named will be working with a well-oiled machinery, with a team. And our candidates, we have had excellent quality candidates coming forward. And it, of course, for the screening committee, it is sometimes a hard choice. But more than the individual constituency is to have a national team that will form the government to support the Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad-Bisesa, in the partnership, delivering the partnership vision for the country. And I think she has started to name candidates, and now the excitement is building, of course. But really the aim at the end of the day is to have a team that will form government, that will carry out the manifesto and the partnership's vision.
And one of the other things, you know, when you go through the screening process, there are those who are not necessarily happy that the person they're supporting didn't make it. What is the UNC doing? I mean, I know that you, in the last interview, you for persons to support the candidate chosen by the party.
Well, in fact, many of our candidates have been operating in the UNC, have been supportive of the UNC, and many of them often indicate that they are supportive of the Prime Minister returning. And many of them, of their own volition, offer to work, whether it is with the candidate or work with the campaign team, if it's in another constituency or in the... Some good team players. I have seen some good team players. And at this time, when you offer yourself to serve in public office, that is one of the things, because you offer yourself to be part of a team.
We do have as well one of the deputy political leaders. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're chairing tonight's ceremony. Let's talk about the ramping up of the screening process.
Yes, we are going to continue with screening. It's a lot of work to do. It takes a long time. It's very stringent, very meticulous and rigorous. So we will continue that process. We're extremely excited, as you could feel here. Tonight we have thousands of persons here at the Guaico Secondary School, and there's an electricity in the atmosphere. There's an enormous mood. It's extremely positive. The arrival of the Prime Minister now, is a big moment here. And we're extremely happy that every week we have thousands of persons coming out to our Monday night forum. I think we're extremely confident in this area that we will return Sandy Grande Toko to the UNC.
Finally, quickly, the new campaign launched today, No Pirali. Tell us about
About the campaign launch. Well, the campaign launch is today. We will have some announcements. The Prime Minister will give her speech, which, as usual, will deal with our mission, our vision, our policy and plans. As I said before, this party is about plans, it's about policies, about program. It's not about Mobilang and Bacchanal and so on. And the Prime Minister will speak to that. Her all-encompassing vision of prosperity for all is a vision that is shared by people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ed.
All right, so we've been chatting with Dr. Rudal Munilal. He's one of the deputy political leaders, and he's chairing tonight's ceremony. Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa is just behind me here. She's just arrived, just in front of the stage, and we're going to just give you an idea. That's where she is at the moment, very close to the stage, and you can see the crowds have surrounded her as per usual. This is something normally that happens when the Prime Minister comes into these meetings. It's coming to you right here on CTV, your election headquarters. And don't forget, let me tell you right away, tomorrow morning you can join us on CTV for the Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago with Paul Richards, where we analyze what's been said tonight. Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa is expected to announce those successful candidates who've been successful in screening last Friday. So far, she's announced 3 of them. Those have been Clifton Dikoto, Jairam Simangal, and Gavin Nicholas. Still to come, we will look at candidates in the St. Joseph constituency, Pointe-a-Pierre, Tabaquite, just to name a few of those that have been screened. And of course, this very constituency that we're in tonight, Toko Sandy Grande, and the Prime Minister has in fact been working over the weekend with the screening committee. And Khadija, you're still with me. The screening process, how rigid is that process?
Well, of course, there is much of the screening process internally that we do not share with the public. But for the party, for the UNC, what is important out of the screening is to produce the best quality candidate. And although we still have negotiations coming up with our partners and so on, the party has undertaken that exercise. In fact, all of our candidates, when someone offers themselves to be a candidate and to be a representative, many of them has indicated that they really want to see Kamla Prasad Bisesa come back as Prime Minister, as opposed to Keith Rowley. So we do have some excellent choices before.
Thank you very much. And there you have Khadija Amin and Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Passing through right here. We're going to go stateside in just a bit as the Prime Minister makes her way to the stage. We're going to go back stateside to Dr. Rudal Munilal, who is chairing tonight Monday Night Forum from the Guaico Secondary School. I'm Larry Lumsden. I'll be with you throughout this evening. And now we take you to Dr. Rudal Munilal at the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, ain't no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping Kamla Prasad Bisesa now. And ain't no stopping the partnership now. Welcome to the political leader and Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And ladies and gentlemen, thousands of you are assembled at this venue. We have almost 4 times the amount of people outside of this hall as we have inside this hall. So welcome to our TV audience at this time. Welcome. And you can feel the electricity in the air with the arrival of the Honorable Prime Minister and political leader to Sandy Grande. Ladies and gentlemen, I was telling you before, this is a unique opportunity to judge 2 political leaders. Keith Rowley has been in opposition for 5 years. He has been in public life for 30 years. And in 30 years, no one can remember anything that he has done. If I ask you,
What has Keith Rowley done in 30 years in public life? Anyone else, you know? Nobody here can tell us one policy, one program, one strategy, one idea that Rowley has had. 30 years in public life. Today he promised a plywood factory in Labre. That is his vision, ladies and gentlemen. Rowley has been in public life. You cannot point in his own constituency to anything he has done for the people of Diego Martin West. Nothing. But Rowley is playing smart. Rowley feels smart. You see, he's saying nothing. The PNM campaign has collapsed. He went to America the other day, begging some Americans to come to Trinidad to help him. So they could come and powder him up and so on for the camera. That will be his 5th makeover. And every time they do a makeover is worse than the last one. Rowley campaign has collapsed. But now he depending on a fella named Jack Warner. He depend on Jack Warner to go to the electorate. And every week is Bacchanal 1, Bacchanal 2, Bacchanal 3, Bacchanal 4. That is Jack Warner. One week he's a peeping Tom. The next week he have an exposure picture. Tomorrow, Thursday, Wednesday, you will see it again. And in fact, Rowley has a deal with Jack Warner. He has a deal with him. And tonight we ask Keith Rowley to tell us whether he has a deal with Jack Warner to prevent him from being extradited to the United States. If Jack does his dirty work. And Jack, ladies and gentlemen, was an enterprise. I want to remind you, and in enterprise, when we went, the government went there, Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa went there to bring peace and order and law and order to Shagwanas. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack was there. And did you see the television clip when he said that early in the morning, the police doing their work arrested persons who they alleged to be gang members and criminals? Jack says to the TV, he said they arrest them, but I send down my lawyers to help them. So your government, your Prime Minister, working hard 24 hours a day to protect you from criminals, and Jack want to get the criminals on the streets. That's what he wants to do. He wants to put criminal on the street, while we want to protect you from the criminals. Ladies and gentlemen, September 7th, you will make the most important decision of your life. Don't let Jack Warner destroy the future of your children as he destroyed the future of his own children. At this juncture, I want to introduce a very dynamic minister, a very young and brilliant son of the soil. He is our Minister of Sport. Welcome, the Honorable Senator Brent Sancho.
Victory 2015! Everybody say Victory 2015! One good term deserves another. Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, leader of the People's Partnership, her husband, Dr. Craig Bisesa, my cabinet colleagues, government officials, media, and of course, my wonderful UNC family. Let me say good night to you and good night to the listeners and viewers across Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the world. I also want to take this opportunity to express a sincere gratitude to the hard-working women and men who made this evening's gathering possible. Thank you for all your tireless effort. My brothers and sisters, please allow me at this moment to wish my mother, Miss Pearl Sancho, happy 70th birthday. Mom, I love you. see, my brothers and sisters, I grew up with a humble beginning. As many as you know, I grew up in Belmont. I had an amazing network of family, friends, and neighbors who loved and supported me. However, no one gave me anything. There were no handouts. And so my biggest asset was my hard work. Fortunately, I was able to use sport to make something of myself. I earned a football scholarship to St. John's University. Back then, I thought I was the luckiest boy in the world. It was later on that I realized that it was only a little bit of luck and a great deal of hard work. I think about the children of the Northeast Stars Football Club of Sandy Grande, with whom I've worked with tirelessly over the years. The first day those kids showed up, before they realized the extent of their talent that lives inside them, I think they probably believed a lot of things are out of reach too. But my brothers and sisters, I hope to change that kind of thinking. Tonight, I want to remind you that realizing your potential takes a lot of commitment and hard work. And you must have leaders to guide you and help you along the way. Leaders like our leader, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what our country needs. More leaders who are willing to invest their time in you, the people. More leaders who can be trusted to keep their word. More leaders of integrity who are committed to playing fairly and observing the rules. More leaders like our leader, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Now, I've learned the value of a well-functioning team. Of course, the captain's vision for the team is also very important. I remember being part of the team which fought so valiantly to qualify for the World Cup in 2016. And I want to just share a brief story with you. I know some of my teammates from the 2016 are here tonight, and they will surely remember this. We were second to last on the table in 2005, coming up against Guatemala in what was a must-win situation then. The entire team assembled in Port of Spain, and we had practice that morning under the coach, Leo Ben-Hacker. However, our team captain, Dwight York, arrived at the training late, and I hope he doesn't mind I'm telling this story. But things were different this time. The coach made it clear if he didn't apologize to his teammates, he would be dropped from the team. For the first time in our careers, we saw everybody, even a central talented player like Dwight, being treated equally and held to the same standards, and Dwight did the right thing. He apologized to his teammates. And I tell you, that simple act changed our World Cup campaign. We became more accountable to each other, working together to be aware of our responsibilities and accountabilities to each other. That is what it is like when a Prime Minister, for the first time in Trinidad and Tobago's history, has the courage to dismiss a minister who is not performing to his or her job or to the best of their ability. That is what it is like when a leader calls people to the carpet when they are not performing as they should. No matter how far you fight on, you show up and you make it count. I have stood up to people like Jack Warner when he blacklisted me as I led 19 others, players trying to get the money owed to us. We were threatened and tried to end our careers in sport so he could line his pockets. I never backed down, not once. I ended my career on the field to fight that sort of corruption, And now I want to support the Prime Minister that has the same courage. I joined this party and I put my name on the ballot as a candidate because Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a captain who leads from the front. Our Prime Minister is a visionary leader, has recognized and repeatedly uplifted sports and many fruits that sports bears. This is why Prime Minister has included in her plans for national economic diversification. As part of the blue economy, the Prime Minister has commissioned the Maracas Beach Development Project. This will be the first facility aimed at the development of beaches and water sports in the country as part of our economic diversification program. As you can see, my brothers and sisters, the Prime Minister has a vision. She has a plan to make the vision a reality which benefits us all. I've had the chance to don the national colors and represent Trinidad and Tobago across the world. And now I have the privilege to represent a leader who I believe in and trust as we fight an election that could dictate the direction of our country and the lives of the children. So, I want to ask you one question tonight. Who should be a captain? Who should be leading from the front? I know the team that I have decided to join, and I'm willing to do the hard work she asks of me. I am willing to play fairly and honestly and to expect that of others. I want a leader who gets things done for communities all the way from Matlot to Kumana, from Kumana to Matura, from Matura to Valencia, from Valencia to Sandy Grande, and to all great Trinbagonians who want a government to get things done. My brothers and sisters, with that in mind, I would like to introduce, coming on the field, our captain, a leader of whom we can be all proud of, a leader who demands us to be our best selves, a leader who leads by example, a leader who does not back down from challenges no matter how vicious they seem, a leader that would lead us to victory 2015, the Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Now, Kamala is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. You know we got the groove.
Thank you.
Ain't no stopping.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. To my cabinet colleagues who are here, to other friends and family of the UNC, and for you here, Toko Sandy Grande, this is a seat we must win. Good evening, Toko Sandy Grande. Thank you. In 2010, we had to win Toko Sandy Grande. And we put a loyal and dedicated soldier, a fighter, who brought in Toko Sandy Grande for us, Dr. Rupert Griffith. I want to thank him very much for his stewardship of this constituency. Together with his team and together with our government, Dr. Griffith has delivered much in Toko Sandy Grande. And so as we go forward, we know whilst much has been done, there is still a lot more to do in Toko Sandy Grande, and that is why we must win on September 7th. We must win this seat. therefore I ask you tonight, one question I want to ask you at this time. Are you ready? Are you ready in Tokosani Grande? Because I am ready. I am ready with you. Our team we are assembling to take us forward in campaign 2015. We are on the move. And so I ask you again, as I've asked in other areas, I ask you here in Tokosani Grande, in Guaico here, in this school, will you take my hand? Will you join hands with me? Together we can go forward, hand in hand, to victory on the 7th of September. And I want to warn you again. I want to put you on high alert that those opposed to us will do everything they can in their desperation to win. They have tried every trick they could try, and they still have a bag of tricks in their desperation to try to stop us from going into victory. And I warn you tonight, they tried to stick on us email gate. They did not get through with that. They tried Ganja Gate, they did not get through with that. And they will continue to find a way to take us out and to take out every member of my team. I warn you, the enemy is at the door. The enemy is at the door. The enemy is at the gate. We must keep our gates closed, shut, and keep them out. They must never enter, ever, ever. Keep the gates shut. I want you to remember what they did to every government that was a non-PNM government in campaigns. Remember the great leader of the UNC, Mr. Baste Pandey, in the election when they forced him to go to an election under charges with a court case on his head, and a magistrate completed the case but never delivered the judgment before the election day. You remember that? Remember it. Waited till after the election, charges hanging over his head. After the election, the magistrate read the judgment and he was innocent. Do not forget that. Do not forget again what they did to Pandey when they charged him with these things under the integrity law, that he had to go into an election with charges pending over his head. And so today I warn you, they will come at every one of us and everyone in the team to place suspicion on our heads, but they will not make it happen to clear us. And that is where you have the gruesome twosome I speak to you about. Be warned. I tell you, I am very strong. I am not afraid of any of them. In the years I have been in service to my country in politics for now over 28 years. And I want to tell you, there's nothing they have not already said that they could say about Kamla Prasad Bisesa today. They said everything imaginable. They've come with their lies and their falsehoods in all those years. And you see today, they were never able to stop me, and they will not stop me. They will not stop us. We will go into victory September 7th. We will go. That is a warning. That is a warning I give you. And that is why I'm asking you, let us hold hands, stay united, and keep strong. Now, you know, last week, I issued a challenge to Dr. Keith Rowley. I asked him, are you ready to debate? I said, let's do this, Mr. Rowley. Let's debate one-on-one, manos a manos. Well, they said I shouldn't have said that. I should have really said woman to man, one-on-one, I will debate you. Because I want the people of Trinidad and Tobago to be fully informed. I think you deserve to hear a debate between the two contenders for the post of Prime Minister. And we need to do it as soon as possible so that you have time to make up your minds. Since I spoke to you last week, CNMG has confirmed they are ready and willing to host a debate on the decided date of 30 July, that's this month. I tell you, I want to debate. I am ready to debate. I've cleared my time. I'm enthusiastic to come to the nation to put my plan, our vision, to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And what has been the response of Mr. Rowley? His silence is deafening. He does not want to debate. He does not want to speak to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I think I know why. I know why. What his thinking may be. He does not want the people of the country to know that he has no plan. He has no vision. He has no ideas. He's afraid that you will see him for what he is, an angry man without a first idea how to improve the life of all people in Trinidad and Tobago. If he debates, he knows. People will shout. They will see that the emperor has no clothing. Rowley, the emperor, has no clothing. He has no plans, no ideas, no policy. And so the bankruptcy of his platform will be exposed. A man who will not debate, who will not tell people his policies, is not fit to govern, is not fit to lead. He is not fit to serve. And I tell you, I give a clear message to all the people of our country. Look at this man. Look at his party. He's afraid to debate, to tell you what, if anything, that he stands for. It's not about snubbing me when he refuses to debate, you know. It is about snubbing the people of Trinidad and Tobago. A man who treats so this is a man who will treat the people with contempt. And I say then he deserves to also be treated in like manner. Why does it matter? Why does this matter to you and to all of us? It is because leadership is such that must be one that will build the future of our land. The election is not a game. It is not a spectator sport to sit and watch. It is about deciding who will lead our great country, who will take us forward. It is about making a real difference in your lives. But Dr. Rowley refuses to debate. Do you know he cancelled a rally last week? He was supposed to be the featured speaker to outline plans and policies, but he didn't speak. He cancelled. I say again, because he has no plan and no vision, no policy to take us forward. And you see, it matters, because if he's elected, he will take our country backwards. He will run the clock back on all our progress. And so you will see, as happened before, when we had built the Beach High School, when they refused to open it out of spite, malice and ill will. And so that fantastic state-of-the-art children's hospital, should they come into office, they'll find every reason not to open the school simply because it was built by us and the partnership government. That is the way that they have operated. And so it matters to us. I promise you, as I always do, if I am elected, I will take our country forward. I will continue to build a better future for all of Trinidad and Tobago. I promise you, I will deliver leadership to build a better future. Let me give you one example. because this example is very important. We know in our conversations with people throughout the length and breadth of our country that they say crime and crime fighting is very high on the agenda. I want to share with you some of the things we have done thus far and the ways in which we have succeeded to a point. And that is why I will tell you, everybody shares the concern about crime in our country. We are concerned for our families. We are concerned for our friends and relatives. And we are concerned for everyone. But we have made great strides. We have worked with the police. We have improved border security. We have made sure our law enforcement agencies are properly funded. As a result, overall serious crime is down by almost 50%, by half. Serious crime are down by almost half. Burglaries, robberies, car crimes are down by more than half. Drug crimes are down by more than 15%. Shootings are down by 19%. And kidnapping is down at an all-time low. But murders are still too many. And even in that regard, the murder count is down by more than 1/5. And there is still so much more to do. We know that crime, and in particular violent crime, is still too high. We are working to a plan, and we need to keep going. We have a plan to deliver security to you and your family and your children. We have a plan to make our country safer and more secure. You know, last week a family of 4, they were gunned down in their home in Chatham. Our condolences, our grief we share with the loved ones of that family. A wife and a mother of 2 girls were shot dead in her home in Malabar. In Blitz Village in Pleasantville, San Fernando, a man by the name of Brent Lucis was shot to death in his own backyard. On the very same day, a family of 4 murdered, as I said, in their home in Chatham. That incident in itself, the police believe, and others believe, was linked to a murder that took place the week before. Some think so. These killings all shock us. But the truth is, with more than 200 murders in Trinidad and Tobago in this year alone, these appalling crimes have become, to some, almost routine, to some like a normal part of everyday life. But I say now, violent crime is down under my government. We've reduced the number of kidnappings, murders, gun crimes, robberies, burglaries I spoke to you before. But this violence has to end. This violence has to end. And we will continue to put all our resources into the fight against crime. When re-elected as your Prime Minister, we will continue. We will never negotiate with criminals. We will never negotiate with terrorists. We will never negotiate with bandits. We will ensure that the law enforcement authorities are given the resources to fight the criminals, to fight the terrorists, and to fight the bandits. And recently I saw a person who is charged with all kinds of crimes of racketeering, money laundering, wire fraud and so on, issuing a challenge to me. And I say to him tonight, I will not negotiate with criminals. I will not negotiate with terrorists. In our country, we have a justice system we can be proud of. Go to the courts, prove your innocence, and then we will talk. Do not speak to me from behind the court bar. Do not speak to me to issue challenges. You have your own challenges in the courthouse very soon. So here we are. We have a very proud record, but we have a lot more work to do. In 2010, under the then government, Trinidad and Tobago was in decline. Many of our people out of work, families struggling to pay bills. People were actually leaving and fleeing our country. Kidnapping and crimes at record levels. Corruption was a stain on our public life. For too long, politicians had selfishly ignored voters' wishes and acted for themselves. We came in to change that sad state of affairs, and we did. Through hard work, difficult times, my government worked to improve our country and the lives of all of the people. We were able to deliver stability and progress. And so I'm asking to look at the country we live in today. In 2010 and 2011, we worked hard to revitalize our country after the economic decline we saw under the previous government. We succeeded in achieving growth 2012, 2013, 2014, and in 2015, thus far, growth levels have gone up. And you know, even after the doom and gloom and chicken licking crying everywhere, after the fall in the oil prices, even after the fall in the oil prices, we have kept our economy on track by ensuring a continuous flow of investment from global companies like Shell, BP, Mitsubishi, and others. We did not only have that kind of investment, but it was investment in jobs too. We have created about 56,000 jobs. So today, unemployment rate is at one of the lowest, 3%, which means out of every 100 persons, 97 out of every 100 is employed. And so Trinidad and Tobago, today, our country is riding very high on the international happiness tables because our government has been delivering. We have delivered about 100 new schools. We refurbished and or built over 100 health centers. We have created the new jobs, as I said. We have created about 11,000 new businesses in the last 2 years. We have brought clean water supplies to 70% of our population. We have constructed thousands of miles of roadways. And you know, we have constructed many, many houses. Now, I want to warn you. You have seen the Minister of Housing has been handing out keys to houses, and there's a process that will allow persons to go into their new homes. All these new homes. Someone told me, and I don't know if it is true, but we must beware of the PNM because they're threatening they will take away the homes that we've given out. I call them out tonight. I call them out tonight. In the same way, they refused to open the school that we had built. In the same way, they refused to deal with those projects that we had completed or almost brought to completion. And I'm warning you, because you know my commitment to everyone having a home. You know my commitment for the squatters to get a title to their parcel of land. But the PNM is against that. And I warn you, those of you who have gotten homes and will get, Dr. Rowley and the PNM tell us you will not take away the homes we have given to people in this country. And to all those squatters, when we did the exercise last day, screening, and the executive of your constituency came and we spoke with them, and we spoke to Dr. Griffith before, who was making representations. And I know that there are many squatters in Toko Sani Grande. There are many squatters here. We have many squatters throughout the length and breadth of our country. Because given our history of slavery and then indentureship, that the majority of the people of our country were not allowed to access land and were not given opportunities to own land. And so they had no choice but to go onto the state lands and to squat. I have promised you, and I promise you again, that I will change the law to ensure that squatters get certificates of comfort for their parcel of land with their home. I give you that assurance tonight. I told you before, I know what it is like not to have a piece of land. I know what it is like not to have a home. Because when I was growing up, we never had that. And I told you we go from pillar to post as a child. The number of times we moved house to house to house because we didn't have one to call our home. And two things have helped me. I had great parents. And I also had a very hard working ethic. I worked very hard. It took me 15 years to build a house. It took me 15 years. And my husband is a doctor, as you know, and I am a lawyer. And it took us 15 years to build a house. So what about you? How long will it take you? How long? That is why we will regularize the squatters. We have the program, the Land for the Landless. And in addition, we have ensured for those of you who want to build, whether the squatters who get a piece of land or those of you already have a piece of land, those of you want to buy, that under the Trinidad and Tobago Mortgage Finance Company, we will give you loans at 2% interest. 2% interest. And so you can pay, depending on the amount of your loan, it may cost you as small as $300 a month to pay the mortgage. But you see, when I regularize your squatters, you can go to the bank with your piece of paper. That is your collateral that will give you able to raise your loans. So I continue. They want to make mass with the Children's Life Fund. They are trying to make mass with the Children's Life Fund. Yes? But that is one of my greatest achievements of my government, that we have been able to save the lives of about 221 children in this country. And if there is any wrongdoing, the wrongdoers will be brought to book and they'll face the full brunt of the law in Trinidad and Tobago. And so, that Children's Life Fund, they never put one red cent into the Children's Life Fund. Whereas your government members, they have placed, 10% of their salary every month. And I put of my own 15% of my money, 5% from the government MPs and senators, and 10% from my salary. And over the 5 years, I have put into that fund over $200,000. Our MPs and senators, from their own money, salaries, over the 5 years, they have placed over $100,000 each into the Children's Life Fund. When we made this pledge, and we kept the pledge, we asked the opposition. They said no, and up to today, not one red cent would they put in the Children's Fund. And when they were in government, you remember the cake sales and the bake sales and the raffles to try to save the life of a child. These are just some of the things we have done and will continue to do. Our policies as we go forward, we have a clear plan to deliver security, deliver prosperity, and a better future for everyone. Our policies will deliver more jobs, safer streets, improved childcare, new schools, new roads, creating jobs and linking communities, new hospitals, to care for your family. Right here in Tocosani Grande, you know Dr. Khan has worked to upgrade the Sani Grande District Health Facility, and you will also have access to the Arima Hospital, which is now under construction. Now let's talk about records we have. What is the plan for the future? I say it is very important to get a second term so that we can continue on the pathway of progress that we began. Going forward, we will make a dedicated effort to further diversify the economy, to create jobs, to promote growth, to improve your life and that of your children. We will continue to invest significantly in education and training to help people improve their skills and get better jobs. Brent spoke to you about the importance of sports, and that is an area in which we will invest heavily for our young people and not so young in sports. And when you were speaking, Brent, you said I understood the value of sports, and you may not know it, but I have played almost every sport that could be played when I was growing up. And I have the proud record that in my own high school, and let me give credit to my school, Irie High School in Safaria. In my own high school, I was Victrix Ludorum not once, but twice, 2 years in a row, with respect to sports. So I share your passion for sports. And I will remind you and tell others who do not know that I still play badminton, and I think I'm a great champion in badminton. I'll take you on any day with the racket in badminton. In fact, only last evening I wasn't on the court. My grandson is on the court with me sometimes, some of my nephews, up to yesterday evening. I was on the court. The only thing that ran us off was when the rains became too heavy. But we'll be back on. So I share your passion for sports, and this is another area in which we will continue to invest heavily. The velodrome will soon be ready. The aquatic center will soon be ready. That cycling track and other facilities in the arena of sports. We will continue with what I have called the flagship projects. I've identified just over 10 or more than 10. One is a highway from San Fernando to Mayaro. The other is the access on the ocean front to Chaguaramas. And look, I'm not talking about any plywood factory. In La Brea, we will establish dry docking facilities at the port in La Brea. A medical tourism hospital in the East-West corridor. The San Fernando Waterfront Development Project. The Mayaro Tourism Hotel Project, and many more. These are flagship projects which we have in train and in plan in our second term. And for our rainbow country of Trinidad and Tobago, we have a rainbow of colors to generate the dynamic, vibrant economy our country's needs. And that is why I have spoken to you about the blue economy, the green economy, and the silver economy. With respect to the green economy, I have some good news for you. Some exciting news which will have a transformative impact on our region. The Inter-American Development Bank has declared it will support my proposal for establishing a multi-donor energy facility for Caribbean sustainability. The bank said it will be able to provide us with US $100 million to co-finance the projects in the energy sector over the next 6 years. And this is to help us with a green economy, a sustainable energy fund, and not just for Trinidad and Tobago, but for the CARICOM region, because we will continue to be leaders in the CARICOM. It is very exciting It will enable promotion of energy diversification, energy efficiency, and a reliable supply of alternative fuels at a reduced cost in the Caribbean. It is exciting because it will bring stability, security, and sustainability to our region. At the last CARICOM heads meeting I attended, the CARICOM has declared its full support for our initiative. And so we continue our leadership in the region. Blue economy, silver economy, I've spoken to you about. And let's talk now about Toco Sandy Grande and our plans for you here in Sandy Grande and the surrounding areas, and indeed for the entire northeast of Trinidad and Tobago. The Regional Corporation of Sandy Grande is very rural in character. It covers about 41 communities. Your population is about 70,000 persons, and you have about 24,000 households, and this is what we propose to do as we move forward. We will encourage investment in resort and ecotourism and cultural tourism. This will ensure conservation whilst broadening our region's base 40% of your land, which is currently under statutory protection. And this is an area where beaches and rivers serve as recreation areas. And so, with the blue and green economy, we will invest heavily in resort, as I said, ecotourism and cultural tourism in your area. This will bring you development, and this will bring you sustainable jobs. Secondly, we propose to revitalize the agricultural sector. And let me thank Cindy Allen, singing for the farmers in the area. Give her a round of applause. She sang earlier. We plan to revitalize the agricultural sector. You already produce cash crops such as cocoa, coffee, coconuts, citrus, plantains, bananas, mangoes, vegetables, root crops, rice, livestock, poultry, and honey from beekeeping. And so we will take steps to invest heavily in the agricultural sector. We also want to create a node for agro and fish processing here as we ramp up our production. We will have strict regulation and monitoring of the quarry industry. As you know, we have set up a minerals advisory committee for the purpose, and any quarries given out have to be mined 5 acres at a time, and they must be replenished before going on to the next. We'll improve on social and physical infrastructure to serve the needs of additional housing projected for the area. And so some of the housing projects for your area will be done by the HDC, but some will also be done through what we call the P3 model, the public-private partnerships, and we will also encourage private sector development. We will work to improve the functional efficiency of the Sandy Grande Town Centre. The Town Centre of Sandy Grande. We will strengthen the municipal core, and we will expand it, and we will connect people and communities. And so you have to bear in mind that my policy, my government's policy, is people-centered and is aimed to develop communities and regions. There are about 524 communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. There are 14 regional corporations in Trinidad, and we will support development throughout. The services we will support in the Guaico Sandy Grande area will include banking services, professional offices, regional trade, retail trades, restaurants, entertainment facilities, market development, and of course, government services in your area. These decisions that I speak of have already been taken by Cabinet because such action supports our policy of decentralization and development of communities and regions that is people-centered. We will permit buildings through town and country planning in your community, in the community core. Your buildings will be approved to go as high as 6 stories, in that way aiding your development. The village of Kumoto will be developed as a village center to serve the immediate population with a range of services, including government satellite services, just like in Guaico and in Grandi. This means that low-intensity services, as for example banking, convenience shops, doctors' offices, restaurants, will be given permission to operate in these areas. In Kumoto and other areas, buildings will be approved for up to 3 stories. This will open up more opportunities for business and commerce. And we'll do the same in the Mayaro, Rio Claro area. Now you remember that we have built a port in Galeota, which is on the southeast end of the island. And that we are building a highway from Mayaro to San Fernando. But you know, not too far from here, we did the Valencia bypass under Dr. Rupert Griffith's urgings. What this means is that opportunities for business and commerce will increase in Kumoto, will increase in Guaico, will increase in Sani Grande, and the whole Rio Claro, Princeton area, inevitably Princeton, Rio Claro, Mayaro, Manzanilla, Sani Grande, Guaico will all be connected, bringing people, bringing communities, bringing commerce, and all activities together. For you in Grande, when you spoke to us through Dr. Griffith, you told us that you wanted a car park in Sandy Grande to support park and ride along the east-west corridor. We will build the car park in Sandy Grande. As I close, there is much more in our plans in our second term for your region and elsewhere. We have 5 growth poles in Trinidad and Tobago, and our plans are being prepared for your growth, your development. Sandy Grande, Kumoto, and Guaico will be the 6th growth pole, and Rio Claro Mayaro will be the 7th growth pole. So we'll have 7 growth poles throughout. What this means is that we'll open up this part of the country, northeast and southeast, to investment, to faster development, will offer better options for jobs and for decentralization of investment, greater growth, and of course, a better quality of life for everyone. So, we have made improvements to your Sani Grande Hospital. We have established a Coastal campus to bring development to you here. The future of the eastern region and of the people who live here is bright as we go forward into the second term of the People's Partnership. Things can only get better in the second term. One good term deserves another. One good term deserves another. In this election then, there is a crucial choice for the job of Prime Minister. There are only 2 contenders for the job, your leader and the leader of the opposition. The people of this country expect this election to be about jobs, about housing, about food prices, about water, about health, your children's education, and of course, your safety and security, a care for the elderly. I know that you want a campaign fought on issues by leaders offering you a clear choice. Well, they have that clear choice. Dr. Rowley's poison or my plans and programs for better Trinidad and Tobago to continue building the new Trinidad and Tobago, then you have a clear choice for tomorrow. As I told you before, Our future is bright. Do not despair, Kamala is here. Do not despair, Kamala is here. We will work forward to victory. We will continue to build the new Trinidad and Tobago together. There are no areas in this land. There is no space or place in our country that is no go. We belong to every part of Trinidad and of Tobago. Every creed, every race has an equal place. There must be no PNM country. There is no PNM land. There is only one country. That is a country for all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So, I stay with you. I hold your hands as we go forward. I give you the assurance they will not take me out. I will stay strong for you, for the people, for the children, and for everyone in our land. Tonight I tell you, forward ever, forward ever, forward ever. Victory, September 7th. I thank you. May God continue to bless you all. And may God continue to bless Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you very much.
And there you've heard from Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar addressing this audience here at Guaico Secondary School in Sandy Grande in the Top Grande constituency. For crucial issues, the Prime Minister has started off her address here tonight, addressing the issues of the debate and the Debates Commission, and sending a stern call for the opposition leader to debate with her. She's saying there's only two persons in this race. It's her and the opposition leader, and she's calling on him to join with the debate. She's of course said that she's consented to taking part in the debate proposed by CNMG itself through its CEO Ken Ali, and we look forward to see whether or not that will in fact come to pass. She's addressed several development areas in this constituency that has been done and that will continue to be worked on should the People's Partnership and the UNC retain power on September 7th. She also responded to Jack Warner's statement. So we're going to go back stateside to take in Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I guess we're anticipating the announcement of some candidates. I'm wondering if that is what is going to happen. Let's take you back to the Prime Minister.
Okay. We have named 3 candidates. Tonight I want to name 5 more candidates. I want to thank Dr. Rupert Griffith for his service. Tonight Dr. Griffith has passed the baton on to young Brent Sancho, Toko Sandy Grande. For the constituency of St. Joseph, Vassan Bharat. For the constituency of Pointe-à-Pierre, Dr. David Lee. And I want to thank Minister Aaron MacLeod for his stewardship and his work in the constituency of Pointe-à-Pierre. For the constituency of Barataria San Juan, Dr. Fuad Khan. And for the constituency of Tabakit, Dr. Suraj Rambachan.
There is hope from Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa. She's announced tonight Brent Sancho for Turco Sandy Grande, Vasan Bharat for the St. Joseph constituency, Dr. David Lee for Point-a-Pierre, Dr. Fuad Khan for Barataria San Juan, and Dr. Surujrat and Rambachan for Tabakit. They will go towards and add towards that list of the Attorney General Governor Nicholas for Diego Martin Northeast, Dr. Clifton Dikoto from Muruga Tableland, and Jairam Simangal for La Hokata Talpara. Those are the candidates that since confirmed by the Prime Minister and the screening committee 5 days ago, 2 sets of screenings. We expect, of course, according to Dr. Ruda Almuna, to have several more screenings taking place over the course of the period. So we're looking forward for that as well.
You strong. TNT, I know that we got a long way to go. Just trust in Kamala, I know that we will grow, yeah. She believes in your voice, defends your vote. She's always here to fight for sweet Trinbago, yeah.
That was a paid political broadcast.
The winning number